All right, hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well as always. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Apologies if I sound a bit weird. I'm fighting a bit of a cold right now, but I thought it was still important to get this video out because I owe you guys a couple things. So first and foremost, we have a couple giveaways still live on the channel, the most recent of which released a couple weeks ago. So now's a good time to draw for them. So these are the giveaways associated with boxes 3 and 4 from our case of Dusk Till Dawn. So we're going to roll those right away and give away the rest of these lovely Shadowbox altars of the Dusk Till Dawn heroes. Now is still a good time to subscribe, though. I have some box openings for Bright Lights lined up, and there are going to be giveaways associated with those as well. Going to be making a couple custom Shadowbox altars of your choice for the Bright Lights heroes. So keep an eye out for those. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe as always. But yeah, another thing I wanted to do today was talk through some of my recent changes to the Vynnset deck, where I'm at with the hero, my recent thoughts on the hero, and we're going to jump on Talishar for some games. So stick around for that as well. But first and foremost, let's give away these beautiful Shadowbox altars. By the way, Gary, I haven't heard from you. This is earmarked for you. You won box 2 of 4. And so please get in touch. I need your information. Okay. So young Vynnset, that one's earmarked for you. But you need to reach out. These two are going to be given away today. Adult Vynnset, this one, I decided to try and keep it a bit cleaner. I got rid of the crown. I think it turned out quite cool. So this one is going to be sent out today to a lucky winner, as well as Young Prism here. So Young Prism, also pretty neat. I got rid of the chair back is what I decided on this one to allow for the background to shine a little bit. And so I thought it turned out quite well as well. But yeah, these two are going to be given away, so let's get right to that. So this was for box 3 of 4. The giveaway associated with this one was for Adult Vynnset. So let's see who our lucky winner was. I think I asked you guys to comment what you would like to see on the channel moving forward, if I remember correctly, or that could have been the next one, but yeah. So Andrew Henderson, congratulations first and foremost. Adult Vynnset, head your way. Do reach out. I need your information. So zenstatefab@gmail.com. You can find my email in the description of the video. But yeah, please reach out with your information. I'd like to see more gameplay videos and deck techs. Well, hey, I'm going to jump on Talishar today. I'm going to talk through some recent changes to the Vynnset deck. So there you go. Andrew, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for the lovely suggestion. So Adult Vynnset, all yours here. Let's show it off once again. This one's coming your way. You just got to get in touch, okay? So thank you again. Okay, and then the final giveaway for Dusk Till Dawn was for Young Prism. Young Prism is going to be going to Brother Rob. Brother Rob, oh, you took some time here, gave us a nice comment. This is like my, oh yeah, this was a bit of a rough case, and I was talking a little bit about it at the end. So this was like my Dynasty case. Sorry to hear it, Brother Rob. Pulled 3 CF rares, and that was it. Yeah, it sounds about right. Other than that, I got a RF Mask of Perdition, RF Mechanoid. That's not too bad, but yeah, not great for a whole case. Hardly anything to write home about. I may have pulled $50 US at best. Yeah, that can feel quite bad sometimes. I quit case opening at the point and focus on singles buying for my collection. Yeah, I'm sort of, I mean, I'm still going to open. I love opening product, and I love opening packs. It's such a fun thing, and I like to support my local game stores as well. So, but for Bright Lights, I scaled it back quite a bit. I think I'm only buying 2 boxes, which I will be opening on the channel, as mentioned. So keep an eye out for those. But yeah, I feel you here. But congratulations, Brother Rob. So reach out once again, zenstatefab@gmail.com, description in, or email in the description of the video, and this Young Prism is headed your way once I get your information. So again, thank you guys so much. We've had a lot of growth recently on the channel. I will be posting a video about our 500 subscriber giveaway, which again will be a custom Shadowbox altar of your choice. So doors open to any hero from the game on that one. So that I will likely make a video for soon. So again, good time to subscribe. Keep an eye out for that. Okay, let's go and let's look at my recent Vynnset tech, okay? So once again, thank you everybody. I have come to the conclusion, and I know a lot of you guys came into the channel due to the Vynnset content. So I do hope you guys continue to appreciate this content. Vynnset's my girl. I've come to the conclusion that there's no other hero I'd rather play. I was a little bit apprehensive. So ProQuest season right around the corner here, as you guys know. And I was feeling a bit apprehensive about bringing Vynnset because, you know, I do have a little bit over 50% win rate on Talishar, but Talishar is not always super a good indication of deck performance. I have been performing fairly well with Vynnset at local armories, and we do have a very, very good regular player base there. I think really high level play. Most recently, last night, I went 2-1. Did get some favorable pairings into some wizards, but anyways, I think it has legs. I'm trying to tweak. I'm trying to find the ideal list. Not claiming I'm quite there yet, but I'll share my recent thoughts on this. But what conclusion I did come to, I was feeling apprehensive, ran some Katsu reps, and even though the deck feels strong and Katsu, there's a huge high ceiling for Katsu, I just wasn't having fun. And so I am finding myself, I have infinite energy to devote time and thought and energy into figuring Vynnset out and playing Vynnset and getting rep after rep on Talishar in. And I don't have that bandwidth for any other hero right now. So I'm kind of coming to the realization that it's Vynnset or bust. I'm really committed to making the deck work, likely bringing her to at least one of the 2 PQs I will be attending, traveling for one of them. Anyways, so I'm committed to making the deck work. Here are my recent thoughts, okay? So my loadout hasn't changed very much. Crown of Providence still my default headpiece. Flail is my default weapon. And Tunic is my default chest piece. I want to run this if at all possible. And, you know, sometimes, even when I think I'm supposed to run Carapace, I miss this a great deal. So Tunic is great help, allows you to basically give up an additional card in order to still play an Envelop, for example, or something like that. Grasp is way better than I originally thought when I first built the deck. I did run Grasp, and it felt bad pitching a blue for it, but hey, or, you know, a blue for 1 rune champ, but does get you out of bind, represents 3 block, 3 health, which is very impactful. So Grasp, my default arms. This is a flex slot. Lately, for better or worse, I kind of ignore this card, and you kind of forget it exists. So Tessin may be a better choice. You could run Scepter. The issue is I don't think I want to take Grimoire out of the list entirely because that extra AB is really impactful into Wizards. So I think it stays in the list if you can find an additional slot. This is my only offhand right now, which is why it's just the default. But if you find some room in the deck, some space in the deck, Scepter is a great choice. Tessin would be an interesting test piece as well. So this is still in for now. Creepers, default feat. It opens up some really interesting play lines, allows you to go 2 wide sometimes and things like that. So that's always on your feet. As for the core, not much has changed. I've flip-flopped on a few things, and so we'll talk through it. We're at a 51 card core. So Deathly Delight, I still have 2 of. I think having a higher volume of these 2-cost RuneGate cards is impactful, even though, you know, the life gain is sort of incidental. I do still like this card quite a bit. Rainbow Deathly Whale, at this point I don't think I need to sing the praises of Deathly Whale. When you see or have a Deathly Whale set up, so either if you see it in hand or you have one set up in Banished already, and you see a Shadow Puppetry, you're laughing. Shadow Puppetry into Deathly Whale into a 2-cost RuneGate card is like your bread and butter in this deck, or even just ending on a Deathly Whale and banking those RuneGate or Rune Chants for the next turn. So Rainbow, obviously. What I've recently done, I had Yellow Envelop in the sideboard, but I found myself siding it into every matchup. I can't really think of a matchup where I wouldn't want it. Even into Wizard, I'm siding it in as an extra yellow pitch. So It's just a consistency. So I've decided most recently to include it in the main 51, siding in 9 after. So I have 3 red envelop, 3 blue envelop, and I'm settled on 2 yellow envelop now in the main board. So just current thinking on the deck. Funeral Moon, I've been it does grease the wheels. It does allow for you to get out of a bind. It also allows for some interesting play patterns off of Deathly Wail if you follow it up with a Funeral Moon. If you don't have an envelop, for example, ahead of that, or a Shadow Puppetry, then it allows you to bank 3 rune chants at the end of your turn, which is really impactful. So I did play around with the idea of going down to 2 of these because it can feel awkward under certain circumstances, but at worst it blocks for 3, which is great. So I went back up to 3, essentially. I came down to 2 to, I think, put in a third Pummel, which is still on the list. I found a different cut. Anyways, so 3 Funeral Moon in the main right now. I think it's just good enough. The red mauve skies are great, especially if you're threatening Pummel. So those are just in the main board. Runeblood Incantation just, again, greases the wheels for the next 3 turns, so it's a no-brainer. Shadow Puppetry is an amazing card with Go Again, and just feeds off of, really synergizes well with Deathly Wail. Phantom Wraith on blues and reds, again for a higher volume of 2 cost RuneGate cards. Pretty standard stuff. All of the widespreads, red banishes top of deck. You know, I don't need to tell you guys this by now. Widespread Destruction banishes from Arsenal, and Widespread Annihilation banishes from hand. I have these blue flex slots, which have changed quite a bit. I'm sort of now settled on Spellblade Assault. I was on this early on, if you look at some of my first deck lists. I came off it for some reason. But in these blue flex slots, I've played around with Oath of the Arknight, which, if I'm running this volume of envelops plus Funeral Moon, I don't think I need additional rune chant generation. But that said, these Shadow Averser, you could replace those with Oath. But I've played with, so Dread Triptych was recently in the list. That one came out because I think Spellblade Assault just does a better imitation of that. It still blocks for 3. It's still blue. Yes, it attacks for 2 less than Dread Triptych, costs 1 less than Dread Triptych, but it guarantees 2 rune chant tokens. Dread Triptych, it's pretty easy to prevent the Arcane and the hit, meaning you only bank 1 rune chant. And arguably that's more important than, you know, having 4. A breakpoint is not, you know, inconsequential. So anyways, I really like Spellblade Assault. Maybe if you do want more rune chant gen, Shadow Averser comes out in for 2 Dread Triptych, or comes out for 2 Oath of the Arknight. So Shadow Averser is the one that I'm not. I think Spellblade Assault just is in the list. Shadow Averser is the flex slot right now. So this could very well be an Oath if you're thinking you need more rune chant gen. This could very well be Dread Triptych if you need another blue attack that generates rune chants. For now, I've been playing around with Shadow Averser, and there are certain lines. There was one game on paper versus Bravo where Shadow Averser would have facilitated a 3-wide turn. So I think the line was Deathly Wail, not breaking the chain, Shadow Averser, which would have allowed me to get that second RuneGate card in, 2-cost RuneGate specifically, so that when I break the chain, I can follow it up with that. So there are some interesting play lines. It's pretty situational, this card for sure, but it's a 3-block blue, so that you can also banish and play from banish for free. So it does check a lot of boxes. So I like this card. It requires more testing for me to be settled on it. So right now it is a flex slot, but I think there's promise here. So I'm on it for now. My sideboard, and there's going to be an interesting card that we're going to get to in a second, but so I'm back on 2 pummels. I was thinking about it. So actually I did cut that 3rd pummel in exchange for that 3rd Funeral Moon. Pummel feels really, really impactful, but it can get stuck late game. It's hard to keep enough cards to make Pummel worthwhile. Or, you know, it's gotten stuck in my arsenal. So I like Pummel, but I don't want to bank on it, if that makes sense. So back down to 2 in the sideboard, because I'm not going to be siding it in for every matchup. Putrid Stirrings is in here strictly for Bravo, essentially. Maybe Azuri for fatigue reasons, if you need to build up a big attack. This facilitates it. It can get stuck, so be careful about banishing it, especially early game. But it is sort of a necessary piece to get over some fatigue mashups. Read the Runes, all 3 are now in the sideboard. I was running 2 main board. But I'm kind of thinking now, like, Read the Runes feels amazing on turn 0. There's no question about it. It can also be impactful if you creepers it in. So there's an argument to be made that it's in the main board. It's going to be sided into, at least 2 of them are going to be sided into a lot of matchups. But they're in here because I feel like they're more impactful when I feel I have opportunity to take a turn off. If that's the case, then I don't mind ending my chain on Read the Runes or something like this. So in those instances, maybe all 3, like, I wouldn't put them in versus Lexi. Those matchups where you feel like you need to race and where you feel like you can't really take that much time to set up, you might not want to run these. So I don't know. I'm unsettled on where they belong. I know 3 of them should be in the list, but do we mainboard them? Do we put them in the sideboard? I don't know. So for now, they're in the sideboard. If all 3 of them come in, then Oblivion would come in along with them. If only 2 of them come in, probably don't run Oblivion. But yeah, so Oblivion's still on the list. It's also blue, which helps in the Wizard matchup. Reduce your rune chance, just great. The reds are going to come into most matchups. The yellows, I have 2 of them. These could, if you want more consistency in terms of blocking and value in terms of blocking, you can go sync here. So you could even find room for 3 syncs, if not 2 syncs, by just removing the yellow reduces. But these are still for value. And so because if you have a rune chant, it costs 0, blocks for 3, and it makes you a rune chant. So making the rune chant is really why these are in right now in favor of sync. I'm trying to increase the consistency of the build, and the consistency does feel really good right now. So these are in the list, but again, if you want more consistency in terms of value and in terms of blockability, then you might want to find room for sync belows. Yellow Mauve Skies, I'm on 2. This is primarily for Dromi or other matchups where I just want to be consistent and have opportunity to go wide. So in races, aggro matchups, stuff like that, where I can't really take too much time off. Yellow Mauve Skies comes in, but really, really handy against Dromi specifically, because it guarantees those 2 rune chants on a dragon hit, and then you can follow it up with another rune gate card, hopefully to face. This is the most interesting addition. I've gotten so sick of getting fatigued by Bravo, and I'm probably playing the matchup wrong. But this is an experiment right now. This is truly an experiment. And this is my experimental list, by the way. I keep this up to date, Vynnset Testing Experimental. You can find it on Fabrary if you just search video or search decks that have associated videos. This one should pop up pretty quick. And this is the one I constantly changing every day almost, as I'm thinking through the deck, as I'm making additions, as I'm changing things to experiment. This list changes. So this is the list to follow, and currently it has Burden of the Past. This might change, but for now, I want to see how this feels into Bravo. It's going to shut down there. They always have a Favor Scene or a Sink Below or an Unmovable. They always have that defense reaction that stifles your pummel or something like that, and it's really annoying. So I'm trying Burdens of the Past. Chances, I mean, there's a world where you get to 10 and draw the card, but it's more about just having those turns. If you play this at the right time, shut off their whole hand of defense reactions and actually push damage. So we'll see. Okay? But truly an experiment. Carapace, this comes in versus Lexi right now for the extra blockability to get over breakpoints, but Tunic is so good. So I do have trouble siding this in, but it should likely come in to Lexi and maybe Ninja aggro matchups. Probably any aggro matchup, Carapace makes more sense because you're probably not going to net more than 1 resource off of Tunic. But Tunic does feel quite good. So anyways, I'll leave you guys to that, but Carapace is in the list. Ebb and Fold for Wizard specifically. I'm no longer on Ebb and Fold on turn, if I'm on the play or turn 1 sort of thing. So, but it's still on the list. Spell Void 2 is super, super impactful against Wizards, so it's worth having the list even just for that. Nebula Blade for Dromi as a Dragon Swatter. You just need to play a non-attack action, maybe send a Rune Gate to face, and then follow it up with Nebula Blade, which will take down most any dragon. And then finally, Vexing Quillhand. Mostly in here for Wizard again, for the extra Arcane Barrier. Wizard is a very favorable matchup for us. But there's maybe... I'm hesitant to take this out of the list because I think there's use for Vexing Quillhand in certain aggro matchups where you don't want to be pitching a blue to make a single rune chant and where you really can't afford to take a turn off. Late game, Vexing Quillhand becomes more and more important because early game you can kind of set up and you can get your rune gates flowing. Rune gate cards later on when you're giving up, not by choice, more cards. Vexing Quillhand can get you out of a bind and push pressure really when you need to. So I think there's a use for Vexing Quillhand in certain aggro matchups. I'm not fully there on my thinking for when to side in Vexing Quillhand most efficiently, but Ninja, and if aggro becomes more of a thing, there's an argument to be made that this comes into some matchups. So that's where I'm at with the list right now. I hope you guys like it. If you have any suggestions, as always, I'm all ears. Again, I'm really, really dedicated to making this deck work. So if you have any suggestions for me, please let me know. But without further ado, let's jump on Talishar and actually get some reps in and see how we do. All right, we got an Aelia. Interesting. I think we're going to keep the default loadout. We're going to side in our defense reactions. Gonna side in the Mauve Skies, I believe. Pummel could be fun. I think that might be it. I don't know. Let's try it like that. Like, Read the Runes probably could come in favor of Mauve, maybe. That's my dilemma. Let's try that. So we can probably set up, especially if we're pushing pressure. So, I don't know. We'll see how that works. Again, I don't have a fully fleshed out idea of every single matchup and the cards I'm supposed to be siding in and all this kind of stuff. So, still experimenting. All right, our opponent has connected. Knock the Death Whistle to start us off. We have Reduce, which we're happy to play out and pitch for on turn 0. This is great. It allows us to start with a rune chant right off the bat. Ooh, they're gonna... Interesting. Oh, they undid. Sure. They're really going for it on turn 0 here. Red in the Ledger with a buff on turn 0. I don't think we care that much. With a Premeditate, it's going to be dominated. Sure. I mean, we're not really going to be... We usually set up early game anyways, so one action, I don't really mind. We are going to take a bit of damage, but I'll give them Annihilation. No, because it's dominated, we're going to give them Reduce. I don't really care to give them... We'll just take 6, I think. So I'm going to pass. We're going to react when we get a chance. Pitching. What do we want to bottom? Let's bottom this Deathly Whale. So I'm happy to banish the Phantom Wraith. We do take 6, which is not great, but this is not the end of the world. They broke some equipment, and they've given us one of their Red in the Ledgers. Okay, so we are going to banish this Phantom Wraith. If we play out Mauve Sky's Phantom Wraith, yeah, I kind of already forgot about Red in the Ledger. So we can't go too wide. We can only do one thing. So that one thing, I think I want to keep this in banish. Yeah, that was dumb. So we're going to just present the Phantom Wraith from hand Still be a 2 and 6, and then we'll be able to bank this Mobskies for a future turn and bank a banish, a Rune Gate card and banish. So that's good. And they're probably, I don't know if they're going to want to give, depending on what their hand looks like. If they have a lot of pumps, probably not going to want to give us much from their hand this turn. Can't believe I forgot about red. I got excited about our hand, and it's the potential. But, yeah, red in the ledger. That's okay. This is still a good start for us. So, brought them down to 32. We're going to Arsenal. They're going to hit us back quite hard, I assume. We don't have enough to come in with Deathly Wail. Well, we do if we keep a lot of cards. I don't think I ever block Ravenous Rabble. So they're going to be presenting us with more blockable things. Like this Infecting Shot, which... I do want to banish this Deathly Wail. And we are likely going to come in with a Phantom Wraith. So I'm going to give them the blue Deathly. It's not ideal because I'm going to have to pitch this Runeblood Incantation. But there's not really a clean way of blocking this Infecting Shot, unfortunately. I'm going to give it go again. That's fine. Death Dealer. Another Infecting Shot. Read the Glide Path. Pump this one. Sure. I think we're going to be taking some damage here. Ooh, Lace as well. Jeez, this is a big Infecting Shot. Okay, if we are not to get greedy, I could, even if I give them, like, all of my equipment that I'm happy to give them in my whole hand, this is still hitting. So I think we just have to take it and try and regain tempo. So this is effectively for 13, which hurts us, but what can you do? We're going to force them to block at the very least. So I kind of have to pitch this Envelop. I'm not super happy to take damage here. We are going to be presenting them with the Mauve, so they have to block this Phantom Wraith out unless they want us to follow it up with a Deathly Wail, which we would very much like to do. Because on hit here we would get 3 Rune Chance, which would open that Deathly Wail up. So this is not a great start for us, I'm not going to lie, but there is a road back from here. We just need to keep some pressure on, pull some cards from their hand. They have a lot of awkward blocks here. They can't just give us 3 and still let this hit. Yeah, so we're going to get Tunic from them right off bat. So that's pretty good for us. And then I still have an action point here. I could force their last card. I think Whale is maybe the play. So they'll probably let it hit unless they want to give us their last card or a very important piece of equipment, which I don't think they want to do. So we end on a Rune Chant, which we're very happy with. So overall, fairly successful. We are going to take 2 from the Blood Rot. But this is a promising hand. I don't think... Yeah, they're not going to be able to attack, so we're not going to get the value off of Reduce, unfortunately. So I think I have to banish the Funeral Moon, because there's no way for me to banish the Deathly. I mean, I can banish the Deathly, pitch to... No, I can't. So I think my only road forward here is banishing this and playing this out natural. Oh, I forgot about our Tunic resource, though. Don't think that changes anything. I can use it, however, in order to bank our Reduce rather than having to pitch it. So I'm going to play this one out, pitching an additional 2. 2 and 6, threatening Rune Chant creation. They do have AB1, which is another incentive to keep that peace. So we have some clawing back to do here, certainly. We are going to get 3 rune chants off the back of this because we're going to play Funeral Moon and pay the life, which kind of hurts a little bit when we're at 13, but we can't not take the opportunity to make... we can just let this resolve and then play it out. As long as we play it out before we close the chain, this will make us a rune chant, and then when we close the chain, we'll make 2 more, and then we can happily stuff this reduced rune chant in Arsenal and try to set up for whatever they are going to throw back at us, which I'm sure is going to be scary. So we're kind of clawing our way back from a very scary start. They have another red in the ledger, which will be dominated once again, I believe. But we do have our reduce, which can ease some of the pain and suffering. So we will be able to cover this up, thankfully. What are we going to do on our turn? We are going to banish this. Shadow Puppetry in this alone is pretty strong, because we'll go Deathly into Phantom Wraith. So, and I'm happy to just sit on this Envelop for when we need it. So I think we give Shadow of Ursa plus this, and then reacting to cover the remaining 4. We still have Crown of Providence, which can get us out of a bit of a pickle at some point. React. Covering up the 8. So that's pretty good for us. Okay, so banish the Phantom Wraith. This is a no-brainer turn. Take that life all day. Deathly for 5 and 5, or 5 and 6 with Shadow Puppetry. Threatening an on hit that they may or may not care about, but watch their life come down here to about where we're at. Either way, we're going to be following this up with a Phantom Wraith. We're not going to be able to end this turn on rune chants, unfortunately. But I think it's worthwhile just putting some pressure on. This is an additional 6. So bringing them to 10. And we will Arsenal pass. This does... you know, I'm happy to still give this. It does suck a little bit when we don't have a rune chant to make it free. But we'll see what they're not going to have a super scary turn here. We have 2 envelops, so we can present either a very scary widespread ruin by just keeping everything. Well, we can't. We're probably going to have to pitch to this reduce, right? Or do we just hold on to it? Let's see. Let's just see what they present first. We don't need to theory craft that hard right now. So scout the periphery +3 and allows them to look at the top. Hopefully you don't see another red. Okay, a scout. Interesting. So look at the top again. Is that all they're going to do? So we're actually going to have a pretty impactful... Ah, that's why. Makes sense. Yep. Red. No drill shot. Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense because we're able to cover it. What do we have? Envelop. We don't need a second envelop. I don't know if... I don't think we're keen to give Tunic or Creepers up yet. There is potential for them to still be impactful. Tunic less so. We can't really take 8. Okay, so we don't need to get too greedy. On our turn, we're probably just going to be banishing this Widespread Ruin, which requires 1 additional rune chant. So we could reduce. I think the least greedy thing to do is Give widespread. Give crown. Do we give tunic? Let's give creepers. I don't know if creepers is going to be... It's becoming a fast game, so we might not have the resources to make creepers impactful. So I think we'll play it smart. We're going to pass because we don't want this to hit. We want to get the value out of our blocks. I think, let's just see. Let's roll the dice. Didn't help. But this does give us pitch, so we can, essentially we'll replace the yellow that we had in here with a red, which in 2 turns can be played for free. So I'm kind of happy with that. We'll pitch this additional widespread that we drew into. This will give us our rune chant where we can just follow this up with a widespread ruin and fully block up and not take any damage. I think this was the play. Can't get too greedy. It is tempting sometimes when you see a play line to get greedy, but that's fine. So banish and play. Easy. Easy 2 and 6. So 8 is a significant portion of their life total. They can no longer ignore even a simple play like this. This Envelop in Darkness might get us out of a bind during our next turn if we stuff it in Arsenal, and we'll have our Tunic resource up for it. So let's see what they do with this. Taking some damage. Contemplating, taking some more damage, I anticipate. And then probably giving us a couple cards here. Unless they want to go to 2 if they're really confident. They're going to go to 2. Okay, they might try to kill us with a big dominated arrow, but we'll see. We'll see what they come up with. We get a free envelop. Unfortunately, Deathly Wail requires us to basically keep 3 of these cards to be able to play it out, because I do need to pitch for a second envelop. We'll make for a very scary Deathly if we are able to survive it. So as long as they don't present anything too crazy, I mean, they're starting to, so now we got +6. Deathly something scary in. A drill shot. Drill shot. 10. I don't know. I think we just gotta risk it. We're essentially gonna be... Yeah. I think we... Unless I'm missing something, I think we just give them this and take 7 down to 4. Ah. Down to 2? Do you have a second razor? No. So I think we're okay. This... We could have just given them Tunic, actually, because I knew I was going to pitch Envelop, right? The question is, do we go to 1 to make one of these unblockable? One of the rune chants unblockable. If we make one of the rune chants unblockable, either way, with the rune chants, we're forcing a card out of hand. Right? They go to 1. We would also go to 1. This Deathly Wail is going to be for 12, though, which I think we just do it all. So yes, we will take the life. This one, obviously, no, because we don't want to die. Now we present them with 3, so they have to give us a... They will go to 1 no matter what. They have to give us a yellow. And then they have to... This has to be a defense reaction. Otherwise, they're dead, because this is for 12. And they can only realistically cover up, unless these are all 3 defense reactions, which is very unlikely. I think they're just dead here. There's a world where they're not, but it's very likely that this will do it. Because these 2 rune chants will... if they don't have a yellow or blue, then they're in big, big trouble. Then they're super dead. But we'll see. They do still have cross wrap, which presents 1 block. It's not going to help them get over this 12. I don't think. Unless there's really something I'm missing. Oh, that hurts. They had to pitch a red. So that, I assume, means they're going to be pitching a second red. And then they're going to be definitely super dead. Unless all 3 of these remaining cards are defense reactions. They are not. GG's. Big time. That was a very, very, very close game. Good game. Very cool. No, thank you. We're going to see if we can get a different matchup here. But big time GG's. All right, let's see if we can get a different hero to practice against. Aelia is very viable right now, so I'm happy to get some reps into Aelia. That was a rough start for us, but I'm really happy that we were able to claw our way back. I think we made some good decisions there. Hopefully talking through some of those decision points were helpful. Ooh, Dromi. Really interesting. So I have a profile set up for Dromi. I'll talk through some of the choices, though. Nebula Blade. I'll also make sure that this sideboarded correctly. I don't care to side in any of the defense reactions, which is why it's in the sideboard. Putrid Stirring doesn't help us here, and the pummels feel awkward into Dromi. So we do have 57 right now, so I am going to side in. Oh, that's because I had Command and Conquer in the list, which came out for Burdens of the Past, so those were in because I felt like I still needed a higher volume of poppers into Dromi. So unfortunately, the Burdens of the Past does hurt our Dromi matchup. So I think I'm just going to side in, like this could block out a Kyloria. I don't think Pummel's the play here, so I think we're just going to side in the red reduces and see. I really feel like you have to draw into the poppers at the right time into Dromi. This is a very challenging matchup. It's not unwinnable, but it's tough. It really is tough. So they just make a bunch of ash. We are just going to set up and hold a popper probably. We're going to make 2 rune chants here because I'm happy to just play this Funeral Moon out. So I think we go for the widespread. Play Funeral Moon. No. And then Arsenal, the Shadow Puppetry. And then we still have 2 poppers. So we'll hold 1 to banish. Oh god. That's not great for us. I always forget what they do. This one does what? Looks at our hand. Well, what did they reveal? Yeah, they revealed a red. So they are choosing a card. Yeah, so they banished a widespread rune for us, which is not the end of the world. We're just going to have to pop this because it's scary. So we're lucky we had 2 poppers there. This limits our choices, but we're happy to banish a Deathly Whale because we can actually go too wide here pretty easily and start to pressure their life. I guess we're holding on to this Spellblade Assault. I don't know. Let's, first and foremost, Shadow Puppetry no matter what. We're taking the damage. We're going to first present Deathly Whale. Then we're going to think. Then we are going to think. Because I could present another 2 and 6. Yep, sure. Let's see what we get off top. Shadow Puppetry is going to stay right where it is. Okay. So we can either break the chain, follow this up with another 2 and 6. They don't seem super happy to block right now, so that's probably the play. Alternatively, I could present 4 with on-hit Rune Chant. So the options is 2 and 6, end the turn with no Rune Chants, or 4, end the turn on potentially 3 Rune Chants, and bank the Spellblade Assault for later. I don't think we're that worried about floating Runegate cards right now, so I think that might be the play. We're not banking this whole way, so what am I talking about? Let's try for this. Okay. Oh, that's why. Oh my god. This is a very strange start to a Dromi matchup. So this just deals us crazy amounts of... No, it breaks our tunic, which is great. Very cool. Oh, well, we do have a popper, so we are going to pop it. That's a big yuck from me, dog. The silver lining is they're not... Like, those were very impactful turns. But they're not given the opportunity to set up dragons, which is good for us. So, yeah, no-brainer. We banish the Funeral Moon here. We're on 4 rune chants. We're not terribly far from Oblivion, but we're not going to, like, bank on that. So I can go Shadow Puppetry, threaten their arsenal. So I don't know if we care to pay, because they're going to have a hard time blocking out 4 rune chants unless they give us, like, they don't have a high volume of blues. I don't think we care to pay. I might be wrong on that, but I think they're taking damage here no matter what. So we'll present the widespread. We can follow this up with Nebula Blade, which is not terrible, because I don't think we care to keep Oblivion. So they were able to block 3 of the rune chants. I'll be interested to see what they do with the last one. They want to give us a second card. I'm sort of okay with that. Yeah, they took it. So now 7 go again with... Wow, this is a very aggressive Dromi. It's really interesting. Oh, this is not really a representative... I don't know if it's just the hands they've been drawing into. They were able to protect their, or cycle their arsenal here. So we're going to take another 5. We'll see what we get off the top. Oh, okay, I see. Yep, that makes sense. Sure, so we're going to take 1. We don't care to banish that. We'll follow that up with Nebula Blade for 4. On hit rune chant. See if they have another reaction. They do not. Then we will Funeral Moon and end the turn on 2 rune chants and float a Ring Gate card, which we're in pretty good shape. I keep drawing into poppers, which is great for us. They're going to make little annoying dragons. I still think we pop one of them, because on our turn we could... We're at 2 rune chants, yes? Yes. So I could get up to 4 and present a widespread annihilation. So I think we just give them the destruction. Well, they're going to end on arsenal here. Let's give them the annihilation. I'm happy to just bank the envelop for when we need it, maybe. But I think it makes sense to just shut this turn down. They're going to arsenal that. We are going to just present widespread destruction, I believe. So I'm missing something. There's no creepers here. I think we're just happy with that. That Dromi, please. So 3 and 6, threatening arsenal. They're going to take these. Are they going to give us anything? This is the weirdest aggro Dromi. They could have just had some weird draws, but I don't know. I don't know the list enough. I don't play Dromi, so taking more damage. Really surprised by that. Okay, we'll arsenal this Envelop in Darkness for later, for a rainy day. We will need both of them. Unfortunately, we don't have pitch. Chromai. We do have a popper for you, but that won't shut your turn down. We don't have 2 poppers. But either way, I don't want to be swinging into Chromai, and Chromai is an issue, so we're just going to get rid of it while we have the chance. That's fine. We'll take some damage from the little draggy boys. See if he's able to establish, or they are able to establish a dragon at the end. They're just going to present another 4. With an on hit that I shouldn't have ignored, maybe. Let's undo. We don't need more dragons. I kind of just jumped the gun. Sorry. I skipped right away without reading the on hit, so I think we're just going to give them, because I'm going to be playing... You know what? I'm going to get greedy. We're going to give them equipment, and I'm just going to cycle Arsenal. Didn't pay off. It's okay. We will still end with an Arsenal, which is could be very good for us. So we're going to play this out. I think Maureen Skies is a more... I'm just trying to figure out what I need to pitch here. Maureen Skies is a higher value Arsenal, I think, into Dromi, so we can guarantee that hit if we swing into a dragon. So I think I pitch Shadow Puppetry here. If I come in with Deathly Delight, I pay this all day. If I come in with Widespread, which I think I just want to present more damage for now, I don't take it. So let's see, another 2 and 6. See what they do with that. Their life total is getting dangerously low, which means we're getting late game against Dromi. The beauty of that is you just threaten damage to face. And if we keep pulling cards from their hand, they're not going to be able to set up their dragons. So they have to make some decisions here. So they're running out of opportunity to set up dragons. So they're going to give us a bunch of cards. Yeah, I don't think they played this super well. So we're looking okay. I don't have any poppers here, but we've also taken a lot of cards from their hand. This might be a slower turn for us anyways. I want to keep the blue and probably the Deathly Delight. Yeah. So I think we're okay just giving them... This doesn't do anything. But we want to preserve our life total a little bit. Well, I want to set this up as well, though. Nah, we're just taking damage this turn. We're at 31, so it's a resource. Because they're not doing anything really impactful here. So, banish this. I could just present Deathly, but I think that's wrong. I think instead we set up Rinblood Incantations. It really does help grease the wheels. We pitch this blue to Grasp, open up the Deathlies to present, once again, another 2 and 5. As mentioned, at this point, we just keep threatening damage to face. They're going to be leaking. They leaked 2 already. And we're going to keep pulling cards from their hand, which is going to stifle their ability to set up impactful dragons. So I think we're in good shape. We'll probably have to do some cleanup here, or we have to draw into a popper. It doesn't matter, pitch stack here. So we have a popper. We have an awkward reduce, which I could pitch this Rinblood Incantation to, which would just allow us to play the Deathly without much trouble at all. I think we don't care. We're going to see what else they give us, though. So I'm going to need to banish one of these because I'm likely giving them the popper, right? Necria. They're probably not going to swing with Necria. So I'm going to say this out loud and then I'm not going to do it. I think the play is to pop the Ashwing, but I'm too greedy. I think I want to try and encourage them to swing with the Necria, which they probably won't do, but it is what it is. Let's see. Nope. So, but that allows us to banish an impactful card that we can play out. When does the put a -1 counter on it? So it starts with 8. I can't see. Whatever. It's at 7, I think. Banish this. It's at 7. So we can't take it out. But again, I think just threatening damage, raw damage right now is quite good. So we'll pitch the reduce. Feels awkward. We don't care to pay. Do we want... yeah. I think we have to threaten Mauve Skies. I don't know. This could be entirely wrong. It would have been a no-brainer if we had enough pitch to follow this up with Nebula Blade, but 9 is really awkward to block. They are now at 9. And they have to give us 3 cards. Or a couple cards. No, 3. Unless they have 2 defense reactions. They are thinking... Yeah. 3... Ooh, I'd love to see that mirror guy get out of hand. So, that's fine. We're just going to arsenal this incantation. Nope. Can't play that. Right, we have the action point. Yep, we're just going to pass arsenal. We have 2 poppers. Necria is going to get auto-popped. Don't know why they didn't go for Ashwings there that time. Deathly, right? Yeah, we might have to bank it, but I want to set up the second incantation. And then I think Deathly Delight is fine, because next turn, no matter what, we'll be able to wail. So, Deathly Delight, another 2 and 5. They're going to take, because their blues are at a premium in their deck, and they're probably going to have to give us 2 cards again. They're going to go to 2? No. Right. Defense reactions are a thing. They're going to take 1. We are going to end with a rune chant. And we're going to gain a life. Oh, yeah. Well, whatever. I could have just taken the damage, but it's fine. Well, this is pretty good. I might have to give them the popper, which I'm happy to do. Okay. This is where I struggle. Do I just give them the popper and then like keep threatening face, or do I hope they swing with one of their more impactful dragons? What's the Mai do again? That's actually interesting. I can't creepers. So let's just take the Ashwings. And they might just pass. No. I think we just take Thamai, right? That was weird. It did pop. The Phantasm thing didn't pop up. So, yeah. So we're just going to present Deathly Wail, and then we're going to Creepers in or read the runes. We're going to... I mean, at this point, we just threaten life. Kyloria, we can still deal with a popper if we get lucky. They gave us a blue. They will likely take this 1 rune chant down to 5. This is looking pretty good for us. I should knock on wood. So we keep pulling cards from their hand. They're going to defense react. No, they're going to go to 2. Okay. Let's creepers. Which we get to keep because we did deal arcane. We're going to end the turn on 4, sorry, with the Deathly Whale one. They're going to go back to 5. We have not drawn into a popper. So we take the Ashwings and hope that they play around our popper by not presenting Kyloria. If they present Kyloria, we will have to be, yep. They called our bluff, which I think is fine because we're going to have such an impactful turn. They're on 5, but we have to give them cards. So we give them Shadow Averser and we give them Grasp. And we just keep throwing impactful. They're going to bleed damage here no matter what, because this is going to be a big turn. So, it's unfortunate that we can't keep all of these. I couldn't let them draw, though, right? No. So, if we kept all of these, we have a very impactful turn, because we can follow up with Nebula Blade. My instinct is to just banish the Phantom Wraith, but yeah, I think that's correct. So we'll just have to pitch the Mauve Skies for the Envelop. I may have misread something here, but it's just too good. We have 6 rune chance, 7 rune chance. We're going to pay for sure. And then 8, so 7 and 8. 1 unpreventable. They're at 4. So they need 2 blues here to be able to prevent all of the rune chance, which they can't. Now they have to deal with 8 physical while they're at 2. So they have to give us their hand, essentially. Oh, and react, okay. From Arsenal? No, from hand. Yep. So they only have 1 card in hand, 1 card in Arsenal. And they're at 1. We only need 1 unpreventable, so we just need to keep one of these envelops. And they're done. So let's just take some damage. We're going to take all of these Ashwings all day. We're going to block out the Kyloria, and then we will win. Okay, so let's think about what we can give up. We need Banish. We need Pitch for Envelop. So we can't really give up much, but we can give them up enough to prevent the draw. So it doesn't really matter which one we banish. I'll just banish this reed. We'll play this. We will definitely take the life to guarantee our win. We will present this, and we will say, good game. Oh, nice. Nice. We were too quick on the draw for a good game. However, they gave us all the reds, and it is still GG's. I don't know what just happened, but they want us to do it over again. Okay. Not quite sure what that is all about. Oh, I guess they don't die. They stay at 1. No, they still die. They just wanted to play it out a different way. Okay, GG's, and thank you guys so much for watching. Those were very interesting games. That was one of the most interesting Dromi matchups I've ever had. Really interesting start. They made some interesting choices. I said interesting 17 times. Either way, I hope you guys learned something from that. Again, thank you so much for watching as always, and we'll chat soon, okay? Cheers.